appreciate you calling in and so we could talk. I wanted to start with your most recent release of Secrets. I'm curious, I know that it has some really personal messaging behind it from you and talks about like a stage of your life. I'm curious though, when you had the first idea to really turn that into a song.
Yeah, it honestly started in a writing session. I had a session booked on my calendar with two dear friends I've written with before. And a lot of the times when people ask me like, oh, how do you get song ideas and all that, a lot of the times it will just be in the beginning of a session where I just kind of talk about what's going on in my life or something maybe I'm coming out of. And yeah, it literally just came about when Nick Schwartz and Benji Cower and I just started off our session, and we just started talking. I was sharing with them kind of the season that I had just come out of, and Benji started sharing openly about some things that he was walking through too, and my friend Nick as well, and just able to really connect with them on that. So it really just started the day that I walked in to the studio.
That's fantastic. I'm curious, if the song has taken on different meanings for you since you first, were writing it with them. I mean, it's obviously been it's been some time that's passed, but I'm just curious how that has maybe shifted for you, as you've kind of had time to reflect and continue with your life.
Yeah, Jesse, that's such a great question. I haven't even really thought about that until you asked about it. But I would say, I think after coming out of such a difficult time and listening to and just being in a totally different season of life now, it's really cool to reflect when I do listen to it. And I would just say, like, I don't know, I just feel inspired and hopeful when I do listen to it, just thinking about kind of where I was during that time and how God really brought me through such a difficult season of my life. So I would say, yeah, I would say like a hopeful type of feeling when I do listen to it. I don't know if I would say it's like taken on a totally different meaning, but that's what I would say, like when I hear the song now, how I feel when I hear it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure some of these music and different songs and stuff almost feel like living things, because they like kind of change as they go. So I was just curious.
Yeah, no, that's a great question though. I'm gonna think on that more.
The other question I had for you, I mean, I know that part of the song's message is about being vulnerable and opening up, and I think that there's different feelings for that, like in a small trusted group, kind of like what you were mentioning on how the song kind of came to be in the writing session. And then there's also being vulnerable and opening up and kind of letting the whole world hear the song and have that experience. I'm curious, not if you ever had like second thoughts or doubts necessarily, but if there was any type of kind of hesitation on your part to kind of make that jump.
Oh, absolutely. It's scary, right? When you're being vulnerable. At least I think. I don't know. Someone else out there listening to it, you probably can relate to. But yeah, absolutely. I think too, like you said, it is different when you're sharing with close, trusted people about some really vulnerable things that you've gone through. And obviously, in songs, I don't always, tell every single detail, but sometimes enough where it's like, ooh, are you sure you want to put that out there? But I really, truly felt like led to just be honest and share, because I do think there is a way to share, especially through song. Like I said, you don't have to go and share every single nitty-gritty detail, and that's kind of hard just to do in general. And a song that's typically like 3.5 minutes, but I would say yes to that, because I do remember feeling nervous before putting it out, saying depression and just talking about a time where I didn't really know if I could continue on in life when things just got really hard. And it definitely did come to my mind. So
for sure. And I'm sure that you've also gotten a lot of feedback from, listeners as well. I'm curious if there's been anything that's kind of like stood out to you with Secrets in particular.
Yeah, so one of my favorite things is hearing from people and how my music connects with them. It's really, truly one of the main reasons why I do what I do, is just to remind people they're not alone in what they're going through. And that really has been a common theme that I've been seeing just with messages I've been getting through Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, things like that. Just personal messages from people who have said, hey, I feel less alone, like listening to Secrets and just the things that you shared. It just makes me feel like seen, and then them sharing kind of like what they've walked through. I would say that's been a big common theme of people just saying, I feel like I'm not alone in what I'm going through, and thank you for talking about this hard time. And one message that really stood out to me too is this sweet mom. She messaged me, and I'm trying to remember everything that she had shared, but it was this long message just sharing how her third child was, I believe it was in the ICU or something, I think, or the NICU. I can't remember all the details, but basically saying they had been in there for quite a time because their daughter had a bunch of different like severe medical issues going on. And she was just saying, like, the line that really resonated with her is, what is it? Let me see if I can go back and find her message. She said, can't seem to get my head out of the clouds of my depression. And she was just saying, like, I know, I just found it here. Jesus is with my baby no matter what, but having to watch her suffer so much is heartbreaking for a mother. And she said, I originally listened to Secrets to support you, but ended up finding it was the only song that had kind of broken through a hard shell right now. And so, first off, just hearing what she's doing with her child is heartbreaking. And also just to hear that this song really touched her and really broke through just this really, really difficult time for her was also encouraging in a way to be like, hey, Rachel, this is why you do what you do. So that was a message that really touched me. But I would say the common theme has just been people saying, like, thank you for going to this place. It makes me feel less alone in what I'm going through right now.
For sure. I'm curious, since you have, those kind of intangibles in that listener responses, how you kind of wrap that in with your, not definition of success, but like how you kind of like mark some of your music as being successful or those types of things.
I would say, could you maybe rephrase that again? I'm trying to think of the question again.
Yeah, no problem.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding. Sometimes my brain is a little slow in turning.
Yeah, no problem. I was just saying, we're talking about the listener responses and kind of that intangible kind of feedback and that connection that you get. And I'm just curious how that kind of wraps into your definition of success for, the music that you put out.
Yeah, I know I was sharing a little bit before of one of my favorite things is getting to hear from listeners, and it is a reminder of the why behind what I do. So truly like connecting with them as much as I can, through social media has really been something that I feel like has kept me going, and to know that it's actually like reaching more people is really cool. I would say just to see that unfold.
For sure. Now I'm asking the next question, but I'm not asking you to give, anything you can't share. But I'm curious what you're kind of working on next and working on now with just having released Secrets. I feel like there's always something that's happening behind the scenes on the next thing. So I don't want you to not trying to get you into any sticky situations, but
no, I love being able to share. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm working towards a record. I know I had shared that I was potentially, like, I am working towards an album, but we also might be doing an EP. So I would say don't hold me to those two. I don't know which one we're doing yet, but I will say there's a lot more music that's going to be coming out, and I'm really excited about these songs and just the message and the heart behind them, and the people that I've gotten to work with and dear friends. It's been one of my favorite things, just getting to work with people that I absolutely love. And yeah, also just getting to have some people feature on a couple of the songs. I can't share that yet because those are still in the works, but I will say keep a lookout for some awesome people that will be featuring on some of the songs that will be out. So I wish I could share that, but
I know.
I know. I'm excited about that because it's people that I'm very inspired by and like have looked up to. So I'm just very grateful and excited about the new music that'll be coming out. So definitely lots of more music will be coming y'all's way.
That's great. So I have one other main question for you, and it's one we normally like to end with, and it can be a musical or not musical answer, but we just like to ask, like, what are you most expectant for in this year?
Oof, that's such a great question. I will say, what I'm most expectant for, I would say I've just felt pretty hopeful just in general the beginning of this year. And I know that can be a common theme for a lot of people, but for me personally, there's been past years where I just didn't feel that way. And for some reason, I just feel like very hopeful, and things that I feel like I've maybe been waiting for to see like come to pass, if that makes sense, this year, and being able to get to share that with listeners, and also just like, I don't know if I'm answering that
no
the best way, but
you are.
Yeah, I would say I'm just really hopeful. And also one thing too is I know I'm really wanting to start like taking more adventures with some of my best friends. That's something that I know we're wanting to do, just travel more. Like this Friday, one of my best friends and we're going to go to Muscle Shoals. And so, I don't know, I just feel really hopeful and expectant for things that I had been hoping for, just seeing those things start to come to pass a little more this year, and more adventures. So nice. Hopefully that all makes sense. I feel like I went down the rabbit trail, but I'm really excited for what the rest of this year holds.
For sure. Yeah, no, like I said, I appreciated getting to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It means the world. You guys do such incredible work, and it really is an honor